Welcome back to Veterans Beyond the Wire podcast. I am your host, Tim Keller. Along with me this week is Mr. Matt Disher. Matt, you have that fancy lighting in the background. You can change the colors. You had it red earlier. Looked very ominous.
Yeah, it's I like to think of it as mood lighting. So it's right now it's blue. It's a dark day here because it's raining. But if I want to seem a little more aggressive, we just change it to red.
Ooh.
And now it's it takes on a different persona.
There you go.
We can do the gentle, the old regular
like
old
the yellow or the white, whatever that is there. It's nice.
Yeah,
but the blue's fitting. The blue.
Yeah. I think blue it gives it a good background. If you're tired of looking at me, you can look at my background.
There you go.
Which, by the way, my wife, as a late Christmas present this year, is having my office redone. So behind me is going to become shelves and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Very nice.
It's a cool looking design, but there might be a few weeks of time where I am maybe not in this setting because they have to build it. It's going to be like a built-in shelving system. It'll be pretty cool. So I'm going to
have a bunch of books that you don't read behind you, or books you actually read.
Many leather-bound books.
Okay.
Many leather-bound books. My office will smell of rich mahogany. I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yes.
Amazingly, the most books we have in my house are children's books that nobody ever read.
Anyone with children, probably that is the overwhelming majority of the books in that household.
Right. I have a handful of other books. I have another shelf over here. It's just a small bookshelf with some Led Zeppelin books, some politics books, some different stuff over there. I used to be like the biggest Led Zeppelin buff in the world. So there's 3 or 4 good books out there about them, Hammer of the Gods and things like that. So I picked those books up, but I'm going to have to get more hardcover books to put on my shelves so I look really studious. So I have that appearance. Yeah, right. I'll start wearing like bifocals and
a smoker's jacket.
Right. And I'll have a pipe on hand. I'll pick it up from time to time. Just respond to things.
Good to see you, Tim.
Respond to things like, yes. Yes,
of course.
Right.
Well, we do have a guest this week. Nate Davis will be joining us shortly, but we wanted to get things kicked off this week. So I'm going to start off by saying Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope everybody, we understand this year's a little different, but we hope everybody makes the best of it and has a good Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, I was on military.com earlier this morning, and just the planning, the execution, the logistics that go into feeding all of the troops that are overseas, not just stateside, but overseas. We wanted to talk about that a little bit. 51,000 pounds of roast turkey has been sent out to the troops overseas. 74,000 pounds of roast beef and 67,000 pounds of shrimp got sent out to the overseas troops to try to feed them and keep them feeling somewhat like they're getting a Thanksgiving meal. So lots and lots of food gets sent out to the troops. Nate's actually jumping on right now, so we'll go ahead and add him to the stream. Nate, good to see you, sir. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm getting to a spot where I can park in so I can look at the screen.
Perfect.
So I'm multitasking.
Busy guy. You were pumping iron since 5 o'clock this morning, weren't you?
No, training humans.
Training humans.
Making other humans pump iron.
Making other humans pump iron while you stand and watch.
That's right.
It's very good.
Right, we'll pull over here.
Also, we're getting into the holiday season, there is the Trees for Troop program. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there. If you want to find one of the local tree farms or one of the places that sell the Christmas trees, you can go purchase a tree and donate it. They then get sent to military bases, and the troops and their families get free Christmas trees. Try to brighten up the holidays a little bit for troops overseas. But Matt, you set this one up this week. You wanted to talk about life during COVID, a little bit about how that relates to life in the military. So share some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about this. So I have, we're all on social media. I have friends who talk about the different headaches of what life post-COVID during COVID looks like, and for many of us, I realize people have lost their jobs and people have found themselves in dire straits, but a lot of people have not. And somebody equated this recently to me like life on a deployment, and they asked if this is like life in a deployment. And my answer was yes and no. I mean, this is the kind of thing where there's a lot of variables right now. There are a lot of uncertainties, and these uncertainties are things that they throw wrenches into life every day. Here's the deal. It's going to be a strange year. We're going to probably not spend it with my family for holidays. We're probably going to skip out on Thanksgiving and Christmas and other things that we would otherwise spend with family. But this is nothing new to those of us who have served in the military. I spent Christmas on Camp Pendleton in California. I can't tell you how many holidays either on a ship or in the ocean or in the desert somewhere. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that, but it's these are problems that we'll get through this. I think that people this year will have to grin and bear it for 1 year. And if you can't see your parents or your grandparents or your kids can't see your family members, it's 1 year. And it looks like the vaccine's coming out soon too. So my hope is that in a few months, we can all catch up with each other.
Yeah. Nate, you were a Marine Corps veteran, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm sure you had to have a holiday or two that you spent away from the family, yes?
Yeah, so I had Thanksgiving and a Christmas in Iraq. So, yes, I was away from my family, but I still feel like I had family. I mean, it was fun. Like our Colonel Lestitchen got on the Humvee, had a Santa Claus hat, and so they drove around like the base, like throwing out candy out of his Humvee. And
Nice.
it was fun. It was a cool thing. But of course, I mean, you miss your actual family. Same situation. It's just circumstances, and you adapt to it and overcome. I mean, I'll be with my daughter, a few other close people, but I mean, I just look at it. It is what it is. I'm not losing anything. Actually, I'm still going to eat turkey and drink some bourbon.
Great combination.
So
Great.
I'm happy about that. And then the next morning, I'll be driving down to Georgia to go hunting. So
What you going for down there? What are you hunting for?
deer.
Deer. All right.
Never heard of them.
So
I don't know much about the hunting in Georgia. Are the deer pretty sizable down there?
Deer are small down in
Okay.
down in Georgia. I actually went down there. It's Jasper, Georgia. My friend, he has a pretty big farm down there. Went for going down in October. That was the first time I've ever hunted for deer, and we were restricted to only bucks. But we wanted to go this weekend because they opened it up so you can hunt antlerless and deer with antler. So they're a lot smaller than here, but at the end of the day, when it lands on that plate, when we get that smoked jerky,
Well, and Tim, I think the interesting thing about Nate is that when he's talking about hunting deer, he's not going with. He's
going to be laying out in a field in the ghillie suit with just a knife in the hand.
A dull, like a kitchen knife that he turned into a weapon of some sort.
Yeah, just popping up and surprising the deer.
Right.
Right.
So I mean, that's what he's doing every morning is training for these scenarios.
Yes.
That's why
Yes,
he's
like
on
that.
my team when the power goes out one day.
There you go.
Yep.
So I think another important question, Nate, though, is what type of bourbon are you going to be drinking? Because that is the important things here.
So, well, actually, lately I've been. What have I been drinking lately? What's it called? The Basil.
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you I think you were over at my house. Well, you and I had a cigar, a month ago now? Maybe a little bit more than that.
Yep.
And I had just popped open the Weller 12, which is that's one you can't find anywhere, and that was delicious. It's a delicious bourbon.
That is a fine drink right there.
Yep.
I had a gentleman at work last night tell me he stopped at the liquor store on the way in, went to go get some Crown Royal, and apparently Crown Royal theft is on the rise. So you had to just go up to the counter and ask for the Crown Royal because it was no longer on the shelves. Apparently, I was like, it's a popular alcohol. I was like, I don't know if that's the one I would steal personally if I was to steal alcohol, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go for something a little more pricey, but hey, whatever.
Right.
Right.
But Nate, you are a personal trainer, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so how has this whole COVID thing affected your line of work?
It hit us pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think the initial shutdown occurred early May, back date.
Mhm.
So we had to close down the gym. However, since we're a private facility and we have a private Facebook group just for our members, the coaches, we said, well, we're going to go in there. The gym's not open, but we're going in there and we're going to do live videos. So we scheduled out about, I think we had 3 or 4 workouts a day. So I would come in at 2 different times and do live workout, and our clients would tune in via
Like
Facebook,
a webcast or something.
and they would,
yeah.
they would do the live workout with me. It's a 30, 45-minute workout. And so we did that, and understand that our members are on like 6-month memberships. So we didn't want people mass canceling memberships. So we had to deliver something. So we had to like work. And it actually it benefited me because it kept me still doing something for somebody else, and it kept me having to work out more than I was. I was always lifting, but I wasn't doing that much cardio then. So I was forced to do cardio, but it was for a good purpose. So our clients were happy about it. They had us stand engaged every day, which is what everyone needed. So we did that, and then we would, if someone was out of town, we had those video archives. So we built up a huge archive now, and so we can still use that to send it to people. Here's the workout and the video, so you can watch it. So it was a positive. We were getting kind of pushed against the wall, so we opened at a certain time. I won't go into specifics. Not everybody else opened at that time, but we started back. And just so happens at the same time, I think it was Judge Hartman, Kurt C. Hartman. He's a lawyer here, former judge, and he's I think Navy vet, and he got an injunction put in for the gyms in Ohio, which basically said it was unconstitutional for them to shut down gyms, and so we were able to open up, and based on that injunction, we could legally open up. So that was a good thing. So we're recovering. As far as clients, right now we're back open, and we're structured, so it's all everything's scheduled. We have blocks of schedule, so we were already ready, prepared for this type of thing to be able to control the numbers. So some people feel comfortable coming in, some people don't. We don't require that people wear masks, but if that's what people choose to do when they come in, they do that. And we're doing good. We've had new memberships, new people join up. So yeah.
Let me ask you one question. So you said that you have this video library now. Is that what you called it? Video library. So you guys could essentially, if there's another shutdown, and I'm being half serious and half joking with this, but you could essentially say, "Hey, everybody, we're going to have live classes," and then just hit play and go back to bed. And people will jump into the class. All right.
They would go live for a minute, hold up today's newspaper. I'm now going to go change my outfit quickly here, and we'll start the class. Boom.
We're going to pre-record 16 episodes of the podcast, and
autopilot.
Right,
Nate, you said without getting specific that it sounds like a business decision had to be made at some point as to whether, like, we have to do something. We can't keep the doors closed beyond a certain point, and I think that there were plenty of businesses out there. I know. I'm a big comedy fan. I just saw a comedy club in New York City have to close down because no live events, and that is their that's their revenue flow, is having people in the building, buying food and beverage to then pay the comedian, and without having the ability to have people in the building, they had to close down. And it's, that's just one example of many businesses I know gyms specifically. I personally was going to the gym about 5 days a week when this all hit, and that immediately brick wall got thrown in front of me, and I was left with, okay, I guess I'm gonna go ride my bike today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna run around the block a couple times, and then I'm gonna go out in the backyard and do a bunch of body weight squats. And I was trying to scramble, trying to figure out something to do. So
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't work out too, because the gyms were closed.
yeah.
Right.
Matt. Yeah.
Right. It was COVID.
Yep.
Totally COVID. That's why I gained a couple of pounds. I did go through one of Nate's workouts one morning, a couple of years ago, and I actually felt, I thought I was going to hurt really bad. Here's the thing: like, my wife and I take walks around our neighborhood, and she's in like better shape than I am. She works out a lot, and we'll take a walk, like a brisk walk around the neighborhood, 3 miles or something like that. And I feel fine. And she's always like, oh, my legs are killing me. I pulled on my muscles. And so I went to Nate's workout a few years ago and he kicked the crap out of me. And I was certain that my body was going to hurt afterwards. And I felt like $1 million. My body's very resilient for as out of shape as I am. I don't hurt afterwards. So like, I was like, man, I got to make it back. But Nate, you're a little too far away for me. And that's probably an excuse too. Just where you train is a little bit further away from my house. But, if anybody's in Cincinnati,
I would find like a place like close. Like I never tell people like, hey, we're way over here. You should come. Like I wouldn't do that. Too far.
Right. Well, and that early in the morning too. But if anybody's in Cincinnati listening, Nate trains right next to Lunken Airport on the east side of town. So, it's a good facility, and he will get you in shape. If not after one workout, then multiple. But after mine, I felt like $1 million. Went home, plugged into work, and I was like, I just felt so accomplished.
You feel energized after a good workout.
So that workout you did was that's one of our popular programs. It's the 30-minute. We call it the Fit AF program. And yes, the AF means what that means.
Yeah, right.
And so it's 30 minutes high intensity interval training, and we have strength elements, which is why you get so much out of it just within 30 minutes. Like all of our the machines we use for cardio, they all have resistance. So like our treadmills, they're the self-propelled treadmills instead of just the motor treadmills. We have a skier machine. We had and we have 4 of everything. So we put people in groups of 4, and we make the time schemes to where let's say the work rest ratio is 40-20 or 30-15 or 50-10. You're at this station, then you're at the next station, and you cycle through. We have, it's very, very, very structured. There's nothing whimsical, which people like that comfort, because I mean, when people they pay our prices, they don't want to come in and have to think. They want to come in and just work, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about this. I mean, every year there's that seasonal depression. Everybody kind of, this time of year, it's cloudy and rainy. It starts to snow. It gets cold. Even without a global pandemic, people seem to kind of shelter in during the winter season, and you get that seasonal depression. Getting a good workout in is a great way to kind of beat that seasonal depression. So, Nate, if let's say I was to ask, hey, I'm going through some depression right now, I don't feel safe coming to a gym, what would you say are some things somebody could do around the house to try to, stay motivated, do some sort of workout?
Oh, absolutely. Very simple. At home, what a person can do is first just block out 20 minutes of time, right? So you got 20 minutes, which is sufficient to get your heart rate up, get your blood flowing, get that feel good feeling after a workout, after you sweat.
The endorphins.
So block out a set of time, choose about 5 to 7 exercises, write them out, and then do a work rest ratio and go through it. So let's say we do push-ups, and I'll just the basics are very effective. Push-ups, body weight squats. If you want to add weight, you can hold a jug of water. Planks, jump squats, burpees. And let's say we take those 5 and we say we're going to go through this 4 rounds, 30 seconds of work, 15 seconds rest. So you do the push-ups, 30 seconds, 15 seconds of rest, then you hit the body weight squats, and you just create a small circuit for yourself that you want to do, and you just go through that. Structure the timeout so that the 4 rounds will at 30-20 will equal 20 minutes or however much time you block out. When you structure yourself like that, then you can get it done easier versus just saying I need to do something. I'm just gonna jog on a treadmill you get bored on the treadmill real quick.
I hate treadmills.
You're not working really muscles. You need to get a quick full body. And I'd say you could do it throughout the day also, especially if let's say you're locked down or working from home. A lot of people have sedentary work. So just 20 minutes for a full day won't be enough. You might do that like every 3 hours. Like I'm going to take 20 minutes and exercise. It's going to do a lot for your mind and your body. I even tell people at the gym, you're only coming here for 30 to 45 minutes, 24 hours in a day. If you think that's enough for complete health, no. Like you can do little stuff at home. If you could sit and watch Netflix, just do something. You can do stuff on the floor. You can do planks, which helps people who have to sit for long periods of time. It helps develop core stability, so your lower back's not compensating for what your core should be doing. So that'll help support you immediately. Just planks.
Yeah.
Well, to
shorten it up, I was just going to say, to summarize it, block out 20 to 30 minutes of time, set 5 to 7 exercises, and establish a time structure, whether it's 30, 15, 40, 20, however you want to do it, to work, rest, and get it done.
Awesome. And you mentioned about, if you're sitting there, you got time to watch Netflix, skip 1 episode. You don't need to watch 5 episodes in a row. Watch 4.
Right.
And, skip that 1 episode, get a quick workout in.
Hey, now you're talking crazy. I mean, come on.
Well, I think that's probably the biggest excuse everybody gives is I just don't have the time to work out. Yeah, you really do. You're using it to do other things. Believe me, everybody's got the time. You just got to find it. So
yeah, it's interesting because I hear more and more. I try to follow the COVID news as much as I can and see what's going on with who suffers the most from these different illnesses. And anecdotally, at least, I don't have the information right in front of me, but it is repeatedly, obviously, it's people who are older, but then also people who have maybe chronic health conditions. And when we talk about this, the sedentary lifestyle you mentioned, Nate, sitting around, you can develop. I mean, I forget what the number is, but how many hundreds of thousands of people die in the United States every year from heart disease, or around the world from heart disease.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's from
heart disease, all these.
Right. These are all like sideline effects of sitting and sedentary lifestyle and bad diet and, poor habits, smoking, the things that we've known since we were little kids. But that will make you suffer unnecessarily during illnesses or during a pandemic, for example, where you shouldn't otherwise be, suffering. And that's something that I've really started looking at, as I know I only look like I'm 21 years old, but I'm approaching 40 very quickly, and it's scary. It's scary because I think that Tim and I served in the Marine Corps together in Japan many years ago. That feels like yesterday, and if I could scale back that time, man, it's been it's going to be, it's almost 16 years, right? 16 years since then. 17 maybe. Mm-hmm. So in the Marine Corps, we took really good care of ourselves. You were running several miles, a couple times a week. I haven't been keeping up with that. And it's starting to get scary when I look around and I see people getting sick or people having chronic health conditions at almost my age. And I'm like, man, I need to take care of myself. So it's good to know, Nate. It's good to hear from somebody like you who does this for a living that I can do this in my house for 20 minutes a day. I don't have to be at the gym pumping iron for 4 hours. I don't have to be posting on Facebook that I'm at the gym every day in order for me to, like, it's not Facebook official, you know.
The gym mirror
Yeah,
selfie is a staple, though. I mean, what are you talking about? The gym mirror selfie is the greatest photo of all time.
If you don't take and post that picture, then you're not at the gym.
Yeah, and that stuff is like a lot of that stuff is, it's just not for the majority of people. That, I mean, it's just not realistic. That, like, a lot of those people who are posting this stuff, that's their career, is being in the gym and doing that stuff. Like, but I think people who have different careers, they see that and they start comparing, like, man, should I be looking like that? Like that? Is that the ideal health? No, a lot of those people are not healthy. Like, they do drastic stuff to keep their body weight down. Not all of them, but like, I know a lot of these people, they take all types of pre-workout. I don't take any pre-workout. Like, it's these things, and I'm not knocking them. You know what I drink for pre-workout? Yerba mate, herbal tea.
Yeah.
Has the same caffeine content as coffee, and I don't have the jitters or anything. That's what I drink every morning. No problems. I have strength gains just like anybody else. But even, let's say, at home, and this you got to give yourself credit too, because most people in America don't exercise regularly. The majority don't exercise regularly, and most don't meet the CDC guidelines for, the CDC standards for basic physical health. But just walking, I stopped running and just walk, because over the course of the lifetime, if you put a runner and a walker side by side over life, the walker is going to have all the good benefits, but not the
joint reduction,
cons
things like
that a runner would have. Yeah, they've done studies about this, like, over a lifetime, and the runners actually were broken down, their bodies, yet the walkers had just the same cardiovascular benefit. It's because what it is the heart. I mean, getting the heart rate up, cardiovascular benefit. You get the same benefit from walking, but over the course of a lifetime. So I stopped running, dude. Like, I'll walk on the treadmill, and I'm not knocking running. It's just, I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
I like my joints. So you're doing good.
I like my
just
joints.
By walking,
I do too.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, it's
hikes. I'm big into hiking now.
Yeah. I think a lot of us, though, anybody listening to this who has served in the military, and I've got a question from Dave Simons, Amish Norse. I'm going to put it up here on the screen here in a second, but and I'll get to that here in a second. But it's kind of a segue. A lot of us who have served in these different capacities in the military, we joke around that, you go to the VA and they say, hey, your injuries are not related to the military. Go take some Motrin, drink water.
Shit.
But it is. It's that wear and tear. Even as young kids, I was 18 when I went in and did 4 years, got out, and my knees were destroyed in my back. So it's taken out that wear and tear. You can still be in shape without killing yourself here. I'm going to bring up, Nate, this covers your face up for a second. So Dave Simons was a guest of ours a few weeks ago. Dave's asking, what suggestions or advice do you have giving an individual that has multiple injuries to prevent working out in a manner that was previously done? So, in this case, he's asking, leading to the broke mentality and perhaps causes depression. So I know Dave suffered a couple of injuries in his military service and as a contractor, security contractor thereafter overseas. What do you have? I know we're talking about, like, walking is a little bit less impact. Nate, any suggestions for somebody who might have some pretty serious physical injuries that might prevent them from really going and getting a good workout?
Yeah, I have to be careful with that because I don't know his specific things. But generally, I think walking and core work can go a lot of way. And by the core work I'm talking about is just planking. That's front planks, side plank, right side plank. And to make it more difficult over time, you just increase the amount of time that you do it. just moving. Now, if you want to get into strength building and things like that with injuries, I would say find a physical therapist that is also a personal trainer. I know one here in Cincinnati. He's really good. His name is Dr. Eric Nebby, and I forget the name of his place. I'll get it after here in a second. It's Form and Function Movement Lab. He's really good. So he's a chiropractor and personal trainer, and he has physical therapists. So I think when you someone who knows these injuries or can have a better understanding of the injuries and tailor programs to that. Also, like strength trainers like us who work with personal trainers or physical therapists. A facility like ours, we can help people who have certain injuries and work around them, and sometimes help do corrective exercise. I'm actually in another certification right now. It's called Corrective Exercise Specialist to correct imbalances and things like that. So I would say where there's a will, there's a way. If you have elements, there's ways to still get a sweat and get a good workout. I just think you need to find the right trainer to be under, the right physical therapist giving you advice. I would stay away from anything CrossFit, because CrossFit, they don't form is not their important thing. And you go look at the numbers, ask the physical therapist, like, who are they seeing the most injuries from? Coming out of the CrossFit gyms. And I don't want to knock it, because I'm all about everybody moving, but it's all about functional and moving well, not doing whatever you can just to get reps out, and then you pay the price with injuries. We've had a lot of people come to our gym that were CrossFitters that had shoulder surgery, lower back surgery. The whole thing is injury prevention. So that's why it's important to find a good strength trainer that has a primary focus on keeping you injury free, and not at all costs get these reps.
The biggest way to get a benefit from working out is proper form. If you don't have proper form, you're not getting the full benefit of working out. So, go if you're doing weights, start with a lighter weight that you have no problem lifting, and work on your form first. Once you get your form in place, then you can move the weight up and really start working on building that strength. Again, I wanted to bring up big football fan. Sundays, I spend a lot of time watching all kinds of different football games. The game goes to commercial, you got a 60-second block. Jump on the ground, do a plank, do some push-ups for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of movement. Because I know,
absolutely.
I know for the next 15 minutes, my butt's probably going to be playing in the seat staring at a screen. So I can spend 1 minute out of every 16 or so doing something just to keep moving. I think that's awesome.
Real quick, if I could throw one last thing. So for you guys who have to sit and do things for a long period of time, what happens when you sit is your hip flexors go like this, right? So when you stand up, your hip flexors are still tight. So your lower back starts to hyperextend, right? So right now you're out of imbalance. One thing you can do when you get up out of your chair is you can do like reverse lunges, step back, and then do some of those, and then do hip thrusts to turn on your glutes. Because once you turn on your glutes, that's the best way to help relax that muscle. It's called reciprocal inhibition. Not to get too technical, but it's the the contrary muscles. You need to activate those so it's antagonists that can relax. So let's say you want to stretch out your quads, while you try to contract your hamstrings. That'd be the most effective way. So do some reverse lunges and hip thrusts, land on your back and driving and squeezing your glutes. Those are your best friend if you have to sit for long periods of time.
Awesome.
Because it counteracts that your hip
the tightness of the hip
flexors super tight.
I like watching the videos on YouTube that people take of people in the gym doing workouts the wrong way. And if I had a clip, I'd put it up here. But the people who are doing these extreme, crazy workouts that don't make any sense, I like watching those so I know what not to do, so I don't look like that guy.
I've seen a few of those myself, but yeah, I see those videos a lot, and it blows my mind that if you see somebody like that, why don't you go up and say, or just start the conversation, ask them where maybe they saw this. I've never seen that before. What are you doing? Where'd you see this?
My typical response is, I learned this in the CIA.
Yeah, man.
Don't ask any questions. But that's.
I just see somebody doing something that I know could easily hurt them. I'm trying to step in and just ask the question.
Yeah.
If for nothing else, kind of pause them for a moment and hey, doesn't that hurt your back?
Right. What are you trying to accomplish here, sir?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Matt, we kind of hit on it a little bit.
Those ego lifters.
Mm-hmm.
Ego lifters?
Ego.
Yeah.
They're in there trying
ego
to
lifters.
Ego.
They're in there trying to lift as heavy as possible to boost their own ego.
Yep.
Instead of being safe and
slowly
taking steps up the bar.
Right.
Kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about life during COVID. We talked about the gyms, the bar industry, restaurant industry. I can't tell you the last time I was at a movie theater, because it's not like I go to the movies a lot to begin with, but now with COVID, it just seems like that's probably not the best place to spend your time.
Right.
I know a big thing is the wearing of masks. I'm in Pennsylvania. The governor has placed some certain mandates that they want to have happen. Masks being a big deal right now. I know a bunch of individuals at work are pushing back as much as they possibly can against having to wear the mask in the offices, things of that nature. And I try to explain to them, listen, I personally don't want to have to wear a mask all day, but guess what? It's the right thing to do. It's what they're asking us. It's a temporary thing. We have to get through this. And I speak to some of them about, hey, when you're in the service, you got all this gear. If they say, hey, you got to put on all your gear, guess what? You're out in the desert. It's 120 degrees. Absolutely nobody wants to put all that gear on and have that gas mask on your face. But you know what? It's what's going to save lives. And it's not that drastic. But it's the same thought process. We have to do the right thing, keep each other safe, and try to go home and keep our family safe.
I was resistant to the masks in the beginning, but and largely it was because I wasn't necessarily worried about myself. Now I realize that that's selfish thinking, because I could be breathing it on other people and things like that. But when I think about it, I don't mind wearing a mask. It's not really that troubling. It's not that hard. And to your point, Tim, when we wore our gas masks in the military, I used to take my squad on runs with gas masks on. We used to run, and that was horrible. We talk about not being able to get enough breath while you're running, and it's I remembered very distinctly at 29 Palms. I'm like, all right, squad, let's go take a run with our gas masks on, and we went like boots and utes. So for anybody unfamiliar, it's your camouflage pants and boots and t-shirts. We had some gear on and we had our gas masks on, but we got about a half a mile into that run, and I was like, I immediately regret having made this decision as the squad leader. Like, this was a stupid decision, and it's hot out here, and you can't breathe, and you name it. So, but wearing a mask, I've largely, we're on quarantine right now in my house. We're not going anywhere, and it's because my son's basketball team, one of the kids has tested positive for COVID. So now we're at home for 14 days. We're not doing Thanksgiving. We're not doing anything. We're just going to kind of stick it out here. But my whole thing is, if you don't like wearing a mask, there are ways to just stay out of the public for a little while. This is a temporary pain. We were discussing it a little bit before, kind of like being on a deployment where there's uncertainty and we're not sure what comes next. That's where we are right now, and hopefully we're rounding the end of that deployment, and the uncertainty will stop, and there's a vaccine coming out soon, and I would venture to say by this time next year we're going to be back to a little bit of normalcy. But yes, people have struggled. Some of these industries, Nate, you mentioned that your business got shut down for a little while. I know that the restaurants are a big one right now. I have a lot of friends that are in the restaurant business. I see, just to mention a few, like Jeff Ruby's restaurants here in Cincinnati and in Kentucky. That was Jeff Ruby hired me for my first job when I got out of the military. I went to work at Jeff Ruby's restaurants, and here in Cincinnati, those are like 5-star steakhouses, are really nice places. Brittany Ruby is the CEO of the president of the company now, Jeff Ruby's daughter, and she's been a major proponent in trying to safely keep restaurants open, because for a lot of people, this is their main source of income. And if you look at waiters and waitresses, from the sports bar to the steakhouse, that's how they pay their bills. And if they shut down, there's no pot of money sitting around to pay these people. People might think that there is, like, federal stimulus and unemployment. That all comes from taxpayers. There is no pot of cash sitting around that we can just pay to people. So it's important to keep some of these things open safely, do it smartly. You can still go to dinner and not be breathing on each other, not be sitting on each other. But I think that we need these proponents. We need these voices in the industry saying, hey, these things have to stay open. We can do it safely. You got to keep people in work.
Nate mentioned about, I wanted to bring up the online e-commerce right now. We're seeing spikes, bigger and bigger numbers on e-commerce since this has all happened. Nate worked in an industry where, physically they weren't able to have individuals inside that facility for a short time, but they had the ability to, the coaches themselves. You guys went in, you guys set up these workouts, and people could live stream and or then go watch the videos that you guys created. There's not anything like that for a bar or a restaurant. You can't put a video up of, hey, this is a steak and now we're going to eat it in front of you.
Right.
Sadly, that's just not the way it works. Right. But so Nate, you mentioned about you guys it's not mandatory to wear a mask inside the facility right now. You leave that up to the individuals. Have you seen anybody, I go into class, let's say I join your gym, I come into class and I'm, in my shorts and I got a cutoff t-shirt and, I got my do you even lift bro shirt on. I come in, no mask. Is that person over there on the other side of the room with their mask on gonna look at me in some sort of weird way? Are you seeing any of that? Are people having bad reactions to others not wearing masks?
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Good.
Like, so we select who we allow to be members. So nobody can just come in off the street and say, hey, I want to be a member. We interview them. There's a process. And so we make it clear what our rules are, and just let people enjoy their workout. So I haven't seen the, I guess, animosity or things like that. Who feel nervous and want to come, they'll it's just a lot of people, but some people they'll wear their mask or a little face shield, and some people won't. And sometimes they're in group and they come back. So I guess that's always evidence that they come back. They know what they expect, and then they come back. And some people they're still on our membership, and they receive workouts that we send them their workouts at home. A couple of some of our older clients. We have some of our older clients, 60s, 70s, that come in every day and with their workouts. We have a little bit of everything. As far as me personally, on outside of the gym with the mask thing, I don't mind wearing a mask if I go to a store or a restaurant and their rules are you have to wear a mask. I'm gonna wear a mask without complaining, because they can set whatever rules for their store.
Right.
And I believe that most people are trying to do the right thing. Most people that what I don't like are this government saying you must do this or else, because we get into a whole different thing. I think government should maybe advise and say and plead for people, please do this. We
best practices,
not forcing, because people are going to want to resist, and especially yeah, here, this we encourage you to do this. Most people want to do the right thing, but when if the government's telling you what's right or wrong, where's the limit on that?
Absolutely.
If you say you must wear this, well, what if they start saying you have to wear this type of clothing and these you can get? So we have to always
Slippery
maintain
slope.
the limit on government, but in how government encourage and a do this. Yes,
But I think
a positive. What I just see, I see too much negativity from the government. It's like when our governor, and this is where I get a little upset. When he hopped on the TV, was it a week ago, and basically said, if these numbers don't go down in the week, I'm going to be forced to shut down XYZ. And I'm thinking, like, dude, how about you first acknowledge what the people of the state have been sacrificing, what they've been trying to do? How about some positive? Like, you guys have been doing good so far. We just want to let's keep trying it, because businesses have already been ruined, and you're going to make a threat. Hey, if these numbers don't go down, like it's people are trying, and yet with the lockdowns, with the mask, and it's evidence that more people are masks, the stuff's still spreading. The thing is just going to spread. That's what's happening now. And so ultimately, I'm for logic and common sense. And I think people are getting upset. And when you put people's back against the wall, like survive and my business that I'm depending my life on, or obey this government, I think people are going to say, I'm going to take my chances. Fine me, jail me, I don't care. I have to live. And it shouldn't have to come to that. And people are upset because a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense. And I think that's like insulting, like with the curfew at night. That's just ridiculous. 10 o'clock. Nobody understands. So
and I think on a larger scale,
doing these little things and
right. With those mandates, it's a one size does not fit all. I think that's probably the best way to put it, is that that might be true. The rules might be true in a major urban area where there's lots of people on top of each other, but if you live out in the middle of nowhere, being home by 10 o'clock, I mean, what's it doing? So, yeah.
Nate, you brought up a good point earlier about each individual business has the right to set kind of whatever rules they so choose. So if there's a restaurant down the street from me and they decide, hey, we're not going to enforce masks. If you want to come in here and eat, just know that there's going to be people in here not wearing masks. And you go there with that knowledge. At that point, you don't have a reason to walk in that door and be like, oh my God, why is everybody in here not wearing a mask? Nobody's in here with a mask. You can't freak out. That's their policy. Or vice versa. If there's a restaurant down the street that enforces the mask and I am anti-masker and I want to go to that restaurant and I go to the door without my mask on and they say, hey, we can't let you in unless you decide you're going to at least put your mask on to go to your table. I have no right to then throw a fit and stomp my feet and act like a child about it. I know that is their policy, and
private property, private business.
Yeah, I have to choose to if I'm going to share in their business, I have to then follow their rules. And
it's like the restaurants, or it's like the businesses that allow dogs in. Some businesses are like, you can't have your dog in here. Others, you can take your dog into Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yep.
It's private property. It's their business. I think a lot of people mistake. Not to get too far into the weeds here, but I think a lot of people mistake their rights for what they're allowed to do on other people's property, such as a business. Because it's like you walking into my house and bringing your dog in. If I'm like, hey, you can't bring your dog in my house, I'm allergic or something like that.
Yeah.
People are like, whoa, don't trample on my rights. It's like, well, this is my house. Get your dog out of my house.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
When this thing all started, we saw a lot of that. Like, I have rights. Yes, you have rights, but so does everybody else, and everybody else's right to try to live a healthy and safe life doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want. And if a business is saying you need to wear a mask to be here, like medical facilities, I can't imagine walking into a medical facility not having to wear a mask right now and them saying, hey, we need you to put a mask on. I have rights. I have a right not to. Like, there are people in here that are sick It could be from a million different things. It doesn't have to be the coronavirus. I no longer have the right to be selfish at that point. I need to do what I need to do.
My general response to that kind of thing is, do you know who I am? And I just see what they say. I just see.
You just kind of whip open the wallet and flash at them real quick. And,
right. And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, just checking. I didn't.
You know who I am?
Yeah. I'm not sure if anybody here does really, but I just wanted to check if you know.
About respect at the end of the day. Oh
yeah.
I want to jump through a couple of these comments that we have here in the chat from Facebook and the different platforms. So of course we've got Dave, we've got Amish Norse, Mike Straley is in here. Mike was talking a little bit about his own survival. Mike's also a combat veteran. Mike is a big proponent and speaker, a loud voice for the Eyes of Freedom Memorial, which is a Lima Company memorial. Go check that out at some point in time. You can just Google Lima Company Memorial or Eyes of Freedom. But Mike wrote in here that his game of golf and his motorcycle have been huge for his survival this year. And also he's grateful for other vet brothers and sisters and causes like this to keep us all connected. So I'm glad that you could stop in, Mike, and glad to hear from you. Glad to see that you're on here. And I'm happy that that's the intention of the podcast and the conversation. I'd love to have you on sometime, Mike. So let's have a connection after this.
And Mike, I'm happy that your game of golf helped you survive. I know if I had to lean on my personal game of golf to survive, it wouldn't be a very good survival. I like golfing. I actually have my clubs right here behind me. Not that great. Not
my game of golf is doing the opposite for me, and it's making me
very depressed and upset.
It's making me not anti-survival. Yeah. I just get worse and worse as I go. So Dave and Mike, and then Jeff Hall at DAV. Jeff's a good friend as well. Jeff just wishes everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And Jeff is another one of these guys who I'd love to have on the podcast at some point in time. We can talk about some things. Jeff is Jeff, you're probably struggling right now because you're typically on the road 90% of the time at different events around the country. And I'm assuming that has come to a very dramatic halt, but it looks like Amish Norse is asking, basically the advice here was that all he has to do is get off his butt and do something. And that'll take him in shape or get him in shape, and he'll stop being lazy. So that's the advice that I need to follow as well.
Yeah, he's the one that asked the question earlier for anybody that wasn't in earlier. How to possibly get a workout in
right on,
after suffering injuries. So as Nate put, it's tough to really, without specific knowledge of certain injuries, it's tough to build a program for that individual. But he gave great advice. Try to find somebody locally that deals with physical therapy and things of that nature. If it's a shoulder, they can work on how to work around that shoulder issue, knees, hips, back, things of that nature. I know for me, Nate, you talked about it earlier, running. I swore I was never going to run. When I got that DD 214 in my hand, I'm not going to have to run a day again in my life. And I found myself back in the gym trying to cut some post-military weight, back on that treadmill, running out on the roads, running. But as I've also gotten older, as Matt said, might look young, not that way though. The knees, the hips, the lower back after a run, I get that endorphin release. I feel great mentally. But the next morning, the knees hurt, the hips hurt. For me, it was spin bikes. Going to the gym. I've never been a big fan of the spin class, but I'd go in that room after the class is over, hop on one of those bikes, turn that resistance up. It's low impact, but you get a really, really good cardio workout in. Row machines. Try to find these low impact workouts that you can still get that heart rate up. And as Nate said, you can get just a good cardiovascular benefit from walking without that deterioration of the joints and the pounding of the knees and the ankles and the feet. Mm-hmm. And the whole deal's working out the heart. So
yep. I think the other I forgot to mention this earlier. The other thing about the mental side of working out is the fact that one, it's something you actually are in control of, right? And that it's a tangible accomplishment each time you do it, right? And for the mind, that's success, which is going to boost your mood anyway. I always tell people this who comes to our 5:30 a.m. class. I say, listen, hey, no matter what goes on the rest of the day, you can fail at everything else today, but you came in, you did something good for yourself and your body. So today can't be a total.
Yeah, you've already had a success,
and I feel like especially in the morning, it's a good thing to build on. So yeah, and even if after work, right? Even if you screwed up everything that day, I'm still going to the gym, and I'm going to get my workout done. Then you're not at a total loss. You still took care of yourself. For the mind takes that once those endorphins get released, right? Your mind says like, this is good. You feel satisfied, and you don't that's how even down times when I was between jobs and stuff like that, I never got depressed. The first time I was fucking depressed, excuse my language, because I'd never been without work for a period of time. It was hard on me. But after that, I said, I'm making fitness the foundation of my life, whether I'm working in fitness or not working. I'm always going to work out, because no matter what happens in life, I'm like mentally going to be fine, because I always have somewhere where I can succeed no matter what's going on in life. And so that's my mindset now. And so it's kept me like balanced through everything. Like, because I have, I'm always getting it out, working it out in the gym. So it's a great way to just always, that's why I tell people, like, your career should be up there, but don't let that be your whole life or your primary thing in life. Make it something else you can like control, physical fitness, which is also going to benefit you in the end. And if you benefit you, then you can benefit everybody else. This is the way I see it.
Yep.
I think that's absolutely true. And a career, unless you're an entrepreneur, a career can be taken away from you because somebody else chooses to take that away from you. You can always go get a workout in, and can't nobody stop you from doing that. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
Variables. Yep.
So, Nate, thank you so much for coming on. You made a great point there at the end. Do something for you that's going to make you happy, because a happy you is going to help you make other happy people around you. So, with that, we're gonna wrap this one up one last time. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. Remember, if you feel like you're alone this Thanksgiving, this holiday, you can find us on social media. Reach out. We'll chat with you, talk with you, let you know you're not alone, because you're not. Try to keep the active duty individuals in mind, because as all three of us have said, we've spent those holidays alone. There's going to be quite a few thousand people doing that again overseas. But as I read at the beginning of the show, a couple thousands of pounds of meat got sent to them. So I hope they get to enjoy that. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find us there at the YouTube page. Give us a follow, rating and review wherever you listen to us. Let us know how we're doing. If you'd like to be on the show, if you think you got a great story, contact us. We'd love to talk to you. So with that all being said, Matt, last word to you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Don't be a stranger.
There you go. Great way to end it. We'll see you next time right here on Veterans Beyond the Wire.